Browns finishing up preparations for the Dolphins here in Berea. And of course, since it's Friday, it is Myles Garrett Day. And if you're wondering if a few days, a little space after that loss to the Steelers maybe eased some of Myles Garrett's frustrations, I think it's safe to say, Mary Kay, the answer is no.
It's absolutely no. Myles is just as frustrated as he was after that football game in Pittsburgh when he said he was frustrated as hell about losing the same way every week. Well, that hasn't dissipated, and he said it's not going to until these guys win some football games, not just one, but a series of football games. And in the process of expressing his frustration, he also noted, I asked him about, would you have liked to have seen them run the ball more? And he admitted, yes, I really would have liked to see us stick to the run, especially with the talent like Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. So he didn't like that at all. And then he kind of expressed a little bit of dismay over the way that the Browns can't also free him up to get more sacks as well.
Yeah, Ashley, he said that it doesn't really cross his radar when he gets questioned like he did this week on some clips that went viral and the fact that he didn't show up in the box score. But it sure seems like he noticed some of those things that were said and had a response today. And this was just a day where Myles Garrett, I guess he vented. I mean, he kept it pretty low key, pretty quiet, but it did seem like he was venting a little bit today.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It was a bit more low key, as you said, Dan, version of Myles. We've seen him be critical of different things this team or this defense has done before. But with Myles Garrett, I think he always knows what he's saying when he comes to these interview settings. I think most of the time he does so knowing how he wants to come across, what messages he wants to deliver, if any. And today it certainly felt that way in terms of talking about some of the defensive frustration. And again, the whole running the ball more thing, getting back to the run, that's something he's brought up over the years, I think, when the Browns offense has struggled. So interesting to hear that from him again.
Yeah, I remember even in his trade request, well, not his trade request, but when he first started to put that out there that maybe he'd want out, he did mention maybe running the ball a little more on offense. So obviously that's still continuing. Now, his draft classmate, David Njoku, won't be able to help them start stacking wins on Sunday against the Dolphins. He is out for this game with a knee injury. So if the Browns are going to run the football, Mary Kay, they're going to have to do it without one of their key blocking pieces.
They really are, and that's going to hurt them because he really is their best blocking tight end. But not only that, he really helps out a lot on chipping, giving those tackles a little bit of extra oomph against the edge rushers, and just in every way in the blocking aspect of the game. And then also he is a big part of the passing game out on routes and whatnot. So he's huge in their game plan, and they are going to miss him. It's an opportunity for Blake Whiteheart to step up, and then also for Harold Fannin to make a big impact.
Yeah, and actually we talk about that pass catching. You think you can probably make up for it a little bit with Harold Fannin, maybe with a Blake Whiteheart, whatever, like Mary Kay was saying, but it is that blocking. David has embraced that so much, and that's hard for a young player like Harold Fannin to kind of get up to speed on.
It is. I think that's one of the most difficult parts. And obviously, look, when they drafted Harold Fannin, maybe the biggest knock against him in the pre-draft process were questions about his blocking ability. I know the Browns have always thought he's better than it maybe appeared. I don't know if they were quite right on that based on what we've seen so far, even though he's been so fairly consistent for them early. But also, I mean, just with David, you have to wonder about the protection when they let Dylan Gabriel get hit 16 times last week. More questions at tackle. Yet again, Jack Conklin with that concussion is questionable. So, again, we could be looking at a 7th different starting O-line combination come Sunday.
Now, there is some defensive tackle news, some bad, some good. The bad, Mason Graham popped up with a knee injury. It happened on Thursday. Not anything serious, but he is day-to-day, and he is questionable for Sunday. Now, Mike Hall is questionable also for Sunday, and this is someone who has been ruled out on Fridays the last few weeks. He's getting close to playing potentially on Sunday, Mary Kay. I know you guys had a chance to catch up with him today.
Right. Well, today was the first time that he was a full participant in practice since he started coming back from this knee surgery. And when we talked to him today, I asked him about what was the nature of the knee surgery. We haven't known it all this time. And he revealed that he had a torn MCL repaired and also a dislocated knee. he had a second surgery. The first one was in January. He had a second surgery in April. So that is why here we are asking all the time about when Mike Hall is coming back. He just had another surgery in April. So that's probably a pretty big deal, and it has taken him a while. But I watched him run through the bags today, and he looked very explosive and pretty much ready to go to me.
Yeah, Ashley, for as many Fridays as we've talked about Mike Hall, today feels the most realistic that he could potentially be out there on Sunday.
Yeah, he said he feels fairly good about his chances to play on Sunday. I mean, I think it's a good sign even that he was in the locker room and able to talk today. I think that sort of speaks to things trending in the right direction with him. But, it sounds like he's really enjoyed getting to see this D-line wreak some havoc in the early parts of the season, especially watching Mason Graham and Malik Collins, and thinks he could fit in nicely with those couple of guys that he hasn't had a chance to play with yet.
Okay, it is time to make our picks for Sunday. Browns versus Dolphins at Huntington Bank Field, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. It's going to be windy. It's going to be rainy. At least that's what the forecast is telling us. Everybody bracing themselves for one of those classic days next to the lake. We'll see how that goes. A storyline and a pick. Ashley, lead us off.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with the weather in this game, something we talked a little bit about in the podcast yesterday. We know there's a chance of rain. There are chances of winds up to like 30 miles an hour. So adverse conditions that seem to me to favor the Browns a bit more, just because Quinshon Judkins, if they can get him going, that's going to be key. The Dolphins have the worst running defense in the league, giving up an average of 168.5 yards per game. So I haven't really changed my mind throughout the week. I think it's going to be a weird game. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I'm going to go with the Browns 17-11.
Okay, and I'm going to show some solidarity here with Myles Garrett. Run the football. Play some bully ball on Sunday. Like Ashley mentioned, this is not a very good run defense. The weather's going to be bad. Lean on Quinshon Judkins. Keep leaning on Quinshon Judkins. Throw in some Dylan Sampson. Mary Kay, like you said on the podcast yesterday, throw in a little Jerome Ford. Heck, throw in some Aiden Huntington, whatever. Just hand the ball to whoever wants it on Sunday and play a little bully ball against the Dolphins. I'm with Ashley in this being a low-scoring game, but I think the Browns do get their second win of the season. Maybe it's something about those all-brown uniforms, 16-9. Mary Kay, what about you?
Well, I think it's going to be a clean sweep for the .comers, and we'll see how that goes. But I do feel like the Browns can win this football game. I think it's going to come down largely to the defense, because I think that Browns defense is obviously so much better than the Miami Dolphins defense, and I think there are some issues going on with the Dolphins offense, although it is very, very speedy. But my storyline, getting back to that, is Dylan Gabriel. I think Dylan Gabriel needs to go out there and redeem himself, and it is going to be windy, and he's going to have to be able to slice it through that wind. That's what you have to do when you're an AFC North quarterback. So he needs to show that he can check that box and play in the elements. So definitely keeping my eyes on Dylan Gabriel and how he handles that. I am picking the Browns to win this one 17-13.
Okay, there we go. It is the clean sweep. Whatever happens on Sunday, we'll cover it all at cleveland.com/Browns.